Good morning, everybody. All right, so it is Wednesday, the 16th of January. Really, lately in the last few days, I've seen the penny stocks really start to pick up. Today, you can see TBLT, a lot of volume, pushing up really nicely up to 273. Really doubt it's tradable, but we have been seeing some penny stock moves coming in here, and so. Make sure everything's working good. Okay, seems like it is. Good morning, Mike, Anik, Two-Way, Richard, Netron, Joe, Foy, Sasa, Missouri. Good morning, guys. But yeah, look at TBLT here. Huge move. See if any of these are tradable. Nope, TBLT is not. FDC is. MBOT still is not, which is kind of a bummer. Usually they add stocks like this. I don't know why they haven't. BAC, NBV. So yeah, everything else is tradable except for TBLT, MBOT. And that's it. Everything else on my list is tradable. Frustrating though. But yeah, MBOT did have a crazy day yesterday. Went up to 1940, came back down to 8. It's sitting at 1078 now. Crazy. We'll see what happens with this one. They almost always end up coming back down. All right, Anik said, John, I'm considering joining the TradeNet 500 package, but I'm confused. I did some research yesterday, got some mixed results. Yeah, man, so like this is what you want to understand, right? TradeNet is an overseas broker. And, overseas brokers are kind of, excuse me, overseas brokers are kind of like a necessary evil in the trading world. I'm not going to say TradeNet's perfect. Maybe there is some weird stuff that happens at TradeNet. But there's weird stuff that happens at every single overseas broker. Like SureTrader's super sketchy. Most overseas brokers are sketchy. I know that TradeNet pays people, which is, I think, the single most important thing. And I know that if you use smaller sizing, like less than 500 shares, commissions are pretty cheap. And they're not charging you, an arm and a leg for stuff like SureTrader is. SureTrader is charging you $150 for their platform each month. $15, $16 a round trip commission, no matter the share size. And so, in my opinion, it's just a cheaper option for traders with TradeNet. Now is there some sketchy stuff going on? Maybe so. I don't know. I know that from everything I've heard, that they pay people. That the withdrawals do go through, and I know they're cheaper, and I've used them for a while. And so, you got to understand, they're not going to be the perfect broker. Like, they definitely have their flaws, and maybe there is shady stuff going on, but in my opinion, it's one of the better options for new traders, as long as you're not trying to trade penny stocks, because like I said, a lot of penny stocks aren't tradable. And sometimes stocks like MBOT that kind of go crazy, are not tradable either. Like this one isn't tradable, but this one was at $1 something a few days ago. So it was cheap, and that's why it hasn't added it. But that's all I would say is just don't expect the world from TradeNet, because they are an overseas broker, and they definitely have their flaws, but you got to understand, overseas brokers are overseas brokers. They're kind of a necessary evil in the trading world, and you're going to have to go through one of them if you want to day trade with less than 25K, and so my fills have been fine if you use a market order. Limit orders, I wouldn't recommend. Limit orders, definitely you get worse fills, and it's harder to get filled with a limit order. But a market order, generally, I get filled fine with it. And so that's the only thing, is limit orders aren't great, market orders are better. And so it just depends. If you watch me trade, you can see market orders typically get filled pretty good. Another thing is like for withdrawal problems, from everything I've heard, the withdrawals are easy. With any broker, you're going to have people complain about it. There's always going to be certain outliers that get upset or have problems because problems happen sometimes. But I know, like, for instance, Casey in our classes, Anik, Casey put a withdrawal request in on the 10th and received it on the 19th. And so he received it in 9 days. And he said he didn't have any problems with it whatsoever. It went smooth. And so, I mean, all I can go is from what I hear, What's up, Jack? What's up, Addedly? Yeah, I think the point, though, is that they're trying to day trade with less than 25K. And I think if you're trying to do that, you only have really like 3 or 4 options, which is like SureTrader, Taft's TradeNet, Ustock Trade, or CME Group. Yeah, it just depends. I think they all have their pros and cons. Yeah, no, I haven't withdrawn any money yet. I kind of use small sizing for so long that like that's kind of the goal of me scaling up right now. Yeah, there's a platform fee. It's $15 per month. The only reason, like, I wouldn't use Tefts if like you're trying to just trade penny stocks because you're not going to find anything. But like for stocks over that, it's okay. But like I said, maybe I'm biased, and so just do your research. If you have any questions, I'll try to do my best to answer them. But that's at least my take on it. But yeah, also if you see Casey, reach out to him and talk to him. He did put a withdrawal in December and received it. And so if you want like to ask him about the process, I can connect you two guys and you can ask him about it. But from what he said, it worked okay. Yes. Yeah, the platform fee gets taken out of the funded account. But yeah, look at FDC, First Data Corporation. Let's look up some news here, see what's going on with some of these. But yeah, I mean, you also got to understand, like, SureTrader, the platform fee, if you want like level 2 time and sales, stuff like that, is like $150 a month. And so the platform's cheap relative to what others charge too. All right, FDC. A lot of news out for FDC. Wow. What is going on with this one, man? This one literally has, let's see. This one literally has 50 press releases, like 50 releases today, like 50 articles today. FDC. So it's kind of tough. It looks like fourth quarter revenue is in for FDC. Yeah, so it put out a release that said it expects to report fourth quarter and full year 2018 consolidated revenue of about 2.4 billion and 9.5 billion respectively. It also said that it consolidated revenue in 2018 that was negatively impacted by the adoption of new accounting standards required under the ASC 606. So it said that impacted its fourth quarter results, and the full year declined by 24 and 21%. But it also agreed today that it's going to be bought by Pfizer FISV in a deal that values First Data at $22.74 a share. So this is a buyout. It's getting bought out by this company, FISV. And it looks like the market's taking it kind of, you don't know which way the market's taking it. It's pushing up and then back down. All right, we can look up TBLT as well to see why TBLT is moving like it is. Is PCG, what is PCG doing? Surprisingly, it went up yesterday. I'm surprised. I mean, I know it's down like a huge percentage in the last few days. Looks like it's down like, what is that? 80, like around 90% in the last few days. And so I guess it does need a bounce sometimes, but man. Launches sales with Menard's home improvement chain. Float is 4.4 million. Pretty small float there. Home improvement chain. Yeah, interesting here. We'll see where this one goes. Yeah, I'll be right back, guys. All right, I'm back. What's up, Quentin? What's up, brother? EFII gapping down. APTX gapping down. ACB. I think it's I think it's really following the cannabis sector. So, like, if you look at all the cannabis stocks, so I can pull up, like, Cron. I can also pull up, like, a few other ones. But they follow each other fairly well. Something negative came out about the cannabis stocks yesterday at around, looks like at about 1:30 my time, which is 2:30 market time. So something bad came out about the cannabis stocks yesterday. You can see it also happened with like CGC. They all moved very similar. 2 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock, something bad happened with these cannabis stocks. It looks like it was probably, let's see, APHA, NBEV, all look the same. So all of the cannabis stocks had a big drop yesterday. We'll see where they go today. I'll have to look up the news, see what's going on. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, the float is the total number of shares available to the public, right? And so the lower that amount, the lower the float, the easier it is to make that stock move. And, you know, the easier the stock can get manipulated as well. Yeah, bro. Annex, so you have, there's SureTrader, there's TradeNet Tefs, there's Ustock Trade, CME Group. If you know, you can look at Robinhood, but you're gonna have to follow the PDT rule. Webull. So these are all the brokers that I've used. I haven't used CME Group, but those are the ones I use. I actually have a review I can give you as well. Like I have a video review I've done. Let me try to post that. Go watch this video, Anik, if you haven't seen it already. You could watch that video. It kind of compares them. So the video I just posted. Not without margin, I believe. The possible AG appointment says he is against marijuana legalization yesterday. Man, let's see. I'm curious in that news. My take on it is that anybody that's against cannabis legalization at this point is probably getting paid by big corporations to oppose it. Either that or they're reluctant to look soft on crime or whatever it is, which is stupid. What's up, Pun? But yeah, you can short on Webull, I think, but you have to have a margin account. Yeah, I mean, no, Mbot isn't tradable today. I was kind of bummed out about it. What's up, Eric? But yeah, I mean, you can see TBLT, probably one of the better volume stocks this morning, really moving here. We also have FDC, gapping up. This one had a ton of releases out on it today. And then also watching the cannabis stocks. You know, you can see AMD kind of stayed in the same range all morning, or all day yesterday. It stayed in the same little range. I mean, it kind of broke on the downside, but for the most part, it just kind of stayed stuck in this range all day. didn't really move much at all, which isn't really a good thing. I mean, it's not great for the strategy I use. You know, it hasn't really stayed in that tight of a range for a while per the 5-minute chart. And so hopefully we get some more momentum and get some movement, at least in either direction for AMD today with the opening range breakout. Yeah, CCCL doesn't look bad either. It's gapping up from 203 to 230. It actually has some volume as well. Not a ton, but it has some. It had a really nice green day yesterday, but low volume prior. But it is up from 203 to 230. I can look up the news on this one as well, see why it's doing what it's doing. Hold on one second. I don't see anything new here. Let me look up another spot to see if they have any CCCL news. Nope. This one's just up for no reason. At least no press release out on it yet. What's up, James? Good morning, bro. ABIL gapping up some after a down day yesterday, but after a big gap up. So this one gapped up, washed out, gapped up again. Let's look this one up too. Not seeing any really news release on this one either. If anybody knows, let me know. Bank of America is up. Yeah, I noticed this one. Bank of America really gapping up from 26.55 to 28.07. I wonder how well fades work for this one in range breakouts. Let's look. Doesn't really look to be that good for range breakouts, at least not yesterday. Not as good as something like AMD had been. What do I think of GT? This is my first time live. Are there entries and exits? Yeah, I mean, I trade on stream, you know. I do every day, so. GT. Do I think it'll bounce here, continue to the downside? You gotta look at the daily chart. So it just depends, right? Like it has this big, it's a huge red day for this one. And it may have some support here at 19 per the daily chart. And so at this point, it's just about, I don't know whether it's going to bounce there or not. I know if it breaks under that level and then holds it as resistance, I'm definitely, you know, still going to think about a short on this one. But it just depends, right? If you look at the daily chart, the next biggest level here is on at $19, and it's right at 19 now. And so whether it bounces at the support, breaks underneath it, and that support turns into resistance, we will see, I guess. This is really the lowest it's been in 3 years for GT, so we'll see where it goes. But that's the level I'd be watching, is that $19 level. Yeah, I looked at FDC already. What's up, Pat? Johnny, did you check FDC already? Yeah, I checked it. FDC is a buyout, I believe. It's getting bought out at $22 and something. So that's why it's gapping up. It's pretty accurate, Luke, from what I see. Yeah, it's pretty accurate, at least in my opinion. No, I don't. I don't trade penny stocks, Sasa. CVM. Yeah, no stress. Johnny, CVM. CVM, I want to see a little bit more volume. I mean, it moved up during the day, but it was very choppy and low. And so, you know, this one I just want to see more volume with it. See if it holds at 3 maybe. Yeah, most of these I'm just looking at because people are requesting it. UAL, very weird. Pre-market action. Probably not going to mess with that one. PTIE getting some volume here, moving up. PTIE. I don't know if it's actually volume or if it's just a slight spike here. But PTIE's up as well if you like these penny moves. And XTD kind of gapping up a little bit. TYME doesn't look bad. It had some good volume yesterday for sure. Let's just see what it does here. I think the big level here is 350. What's up, Bamboo? What's up, Dylan? Good morning. Yeah, Bank of America looked pretty good. I'll give it that. A lot of strength. We can look up the Bank of America news. All right, so it sounds like Bank of America was good, good revenue. Yeah, the company beat earnings expectations and also broke the streak of major banks missing revenue expectations. It reported fourth quarter revenue that rose to $22.74 billion from $20.44 billion, which is above the consensus of $22.35 billion. So good revenue. It's also one of the more optimistic bank stocks because JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo all missed their revenue expectations. And so it's kind of one of the stronger bank stocks right now with also Goldman Sachs. What's Goldman Sachs' symbol? Yeah, VHC looks interesting as well. Gapping down, but really big green day yesterday. Yeah, TBLT for sure, Casey. Isn't Snap Snapchat? Isn't SNAP Snapchat? I thought it was. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought SNAP was Snapchat. No, I couldn't find any news for it, Netron. I didn't see any news for it. Yeah, INPX doesn't look bad either, two-way. I'm looking at that one as well. OESX looks good. I mean, kind of, Luke. I mean, kind of, you know. Like, one thing you'll notice, right, is like when penny stocks start to go crazy, the larger cap stocks kind of slow down, and when the larger cap stocks really go running, penny stocks will slow down. And so I'm just hoping the larger cap stocks aren't affected by it. Yeah, that's what I figured. But yeah, FDC, one to watch. Bank of America. TBLT. Maybe ABIL. Yeah, let's look at the overall market today. I mean, the overall market is up some. Still rising. I mean, I think it can get up to 262 if it just depends. I mean, it's a nice rebound for the overall market, but it does have some resistance above it, and we'll see what the market does here. And regardless of what my bias is in trading, I obviously want the market to do well. Yeah, I see it at 262, but basically the same idea, Johnny, is that like it has some resistance above it. Like I see it right here. right here, where this top line is, which is right around 262. So it's definitely confirmed that level a few times. We'll just see if it follows it. What's up, Sultan? Good morning, man. All right, but yeah, today is day 3. Trading the opening range breakout. Had one losing day thus far, one winning day. Currently down probably 15, 30 bucks maybe on 2 days, which is okay. You know, I always try to tell people, like, traders are so, like, they go to the extremes, right? If it's a green day, they're like super happy. If it's a red day, they're really upset. And I think that you have to understand, like, losses are always going to be there. You're always going to take losses. And if you back test your setup, you back test your strategy, you know, you're all right. You can just let the positive probabilities in your favor play out. And that's what I'm essentially doing. Of course, Johnny. Yeah, no stress, man. What's up, Felix? Good morning, man. Yes, we'll see what CRMD does. I don't know if it's going that high, but it's possible for sure. Not a bad daily chart. Yeah, MBOT is absolutely crazy, man. Look at this move. Look at this daily chart on MBOT. That is the most ridiculous daily chart I've seen in a while. You know, just crazy, crazy daily chart. Yeah, I have one, Johnny. Yeah, I have a high of the day scanner. Yeah, for sure. Let's look. Hold on one second. Also, Trade Ideas is having their test drive thing coming up. If you're interested in checking that out, I can get this link here for you. But yeah, the test drive thing, I think you can try it out for a certain amount of time for like $8 on Trade Ideas. And so shout out to them. They're cool enough to let me stream their scans. And if you want to look for the test drive thing, you can go to that link I just posted. But yeah, I think it's just a cheaper deal. Chat, MBOT is crazy, man. I don't know what I'm going to do with that one. But it's still not tradable for me, which is kind of a bummer, but it's back up to 1130s. Kind of a coin flip in my opinion. Who knows? You know, I mean, if it's on an uptrend, it looks good, but we'll see. Appreciate the sub, Olu and Freddie. Welcome, guys. Appreciate it. My trade idea scanner chase is like $120 a month, roughly $120 a month. Yeah, for sure. I like trade ideas, man. It really makes my mornings easier, that's for sure. Also looking at MERC here. VHI up some as well. PTIE pulled back some. But yeah, hopefully AMD breaks out of this range. You know, let's see. I could draw the range here. Super obvious range right here. Was stuck in it all day yesterday. So hopefully it breaks out of this range today. Kind of followed that first minute range all day. What's up, Robert? Good morning, man. Yeah, 1140s for MBOT. Crazy move, man. What was the original news story that came out for MBOT? Let's look it up. It was study data. It was positive study data. At least from what I see. Was there a buyout? The company said it validated the operational effectiveness of a self-cleaning shunt for treatment of hydrocephalus in independent in vitro laboratory study. I hate reading bio drugs. Hydrocephalus is a condition in which excess cerebral spinal fluid in the brain's ventricles causes increased pressure that can result in damage to brain tissue. So yeah, after that announcement, they also unveiled a $3 million direct registered public offering priced at the market for a purchase price of $650 per share. And then it offered another one, this time at $590 after that. At $5.9 million of priced at the market shares, priced at $10. Interesting here. Yeah, definitely interesting. I don't know if I'm going to try to approach this one, but it's interesting news, and we'll see where it goes, you know. What's up, Rich? What's up, brother? So yeah, just be careful with it, guys. It's still up a ton from where it was. DAL is up. Like I said, FDC. Big gap. Bank of America, BAC, TBLT, penny stock, big gap. Let's see what we get today. Also going to be keeping an eye on the cannabis stocks. Like I said, something happened with them. I guess I could look that up, but something happened with the cannabis stocks yesterday at around 2 p.m. Let me look up CGC. A lot of times that's like the big alpha one, or TLRY maybe. No really news came out. I guess they were. Oh, wait. Yeah, TLRY. And the Attorney General made a comment about it. Yeah, so William Barr said the current system around cannabis laws is untenable, quote unquote. And he personally supports prohibiting it across the U.S. What an idiot. At least he said he wouldn't go after cannabis businesses that comply with state regulations. At least he has that going for you. But, I mean, I think, I don't know. Like I said, my take on it is that anybody that really is, like, serious about, like, cannabis prohibition has got to lack some intelligence. They really do. Like, if they're serious about cannabis prohibition, they really have to lack intelligence. you know. And you'll get some people that say, oh, it's a gateway drug, or you'll get some people, for whatever reason, it's not good to legalize another drug on the streets. And it's not about that at all. It's about having an even standard of stuff that's okay to use and that's not okay. You know, if the standard isn't even, then it's full of hypocrisy. You know, if a substantially and objectively more harmful drug is legal while cannabis, a much milder drug, is illegal, then that's super hypocritical and ridiculous. So it just needs an even standard, I think. At least that's my take on it. I won't rant about it anymore, but that's how I feel about it. All right, guys, we got about 3 minutes, a little bit over 3 minutes. What's up, Enduro? Good morning, man. Yeah, PTIE, Pain Therapeutics, awarded 1.5 million research grant by National Institute of Health. Tiny float for PTIE as well, very small float, 5 million. SPXL. Yeah, it's up. I mean, XPSL is a ETF. I didn't realize that. You mean MBOT or NBOT? Is NBOT a stock? No, it's MBOT. Yeah, crazy moves for it. Also looking at VHC. I mean, it's moving some. It's down, but it's moving some. So that's worth a watch, I think, as well. Got you two-way. All right, I'll pull the scans up, the intraday scans. Let's get ready. All right. Let's do this, guys. Good luck. We got 2 minutes. Wait, am I logged in? Yeah. I'm not logged in. Okay. There we go. Now I'm in. All right, so let's do this, guys. We got about a minute left. MBOT still up. It's up to almost 1160 now. Bank of America up a ton. What did KTOV do yesterday? It had a surprisingly big green day for KTOV. So yeah, some of the pennies are really starting to move. May slow down a little bit of the higher cap stocks. NBEV as well, down some. Although it's had a few red or green days in a row. All right, guys, we got 25 seconds. Good luck, all. Good luck. What's up, Sync 2A? All right, let's do this, guys. Here comes the bell. All right, there we go. NBEV dropping. We got a big drop on NBEV. AMD dropping. See what the market's doing. SPY dropping. All right, well, the SPY had a green morning, so we'll see how it opens up this morning. AMD already having a pretty big range, about what is that, 18 cents or so? Yep, exactly 18 cents. CGC dropping. Some of the cannabis plays dropping. We'll see what happens with them. On the scanners, TBLT popping up. TBLT popping up on the scanner. Starting to spike here. Broke the pre-market high. SPY pulling back. Looks like it may reverse here. Head up. We'll see. What's up, John? Oh, good morning, man. But yeah, TBLT up. Yeah, TBLT really spiking up here. What is MBOT doing? MBOT spiking back up again here, guys. Same thing with the cannabis stocks. They rebounded some. All right, so AMD seems to be following the market fairly close here. We'll see the market starting to push up. We'll see if AMD does as well. Nice, Pat. Good work, bro. Good work, man. So curious here. Look at TBLT spike. TBLT really starting to run here. And it seems like AMD is trading against the overall market as well. Like if you look at the SPY is pushing up and AMD is dropping here. I just don't want it to get in another choppy like channel type move. Hey, good work, man. Almost 400 bucks. Nice job. Good morning, outsiders. What's up, man? All right, yeah, AMD is trading against the market right now. The SPY is pushing up while AMD is dropping. Like I said, though, I just don't want it to get really choppy again. It was super choppy in between the same exact range just about yesterday. Market popping up here up to 261s. What is the symbol for AT&T, Joe? Think or swim. Sync. My charting right here has free paper trading. You just got to request it. Cannabis stocks really moving up. CGC, Cron, they're both up. NBEV's down, but maybe rebounding some here. But yeah, look at the market push. T is the symbol for, okay. AMD trying to break over this range here. Let's see, what is this? From 50 down to 32, about an 18-cent range. I'll let it test this $0.50. All right, I'm in with 400 shares on AMD. Hopefully it didn't fake me out again here like it did yesterday. That's kind of what it did to me all day yesterday. Market's still pushing. 44s. I'm just worried I got caught. AMD's being super choppy again. I don't really want to get caught in the chop here. Plus the SPY is pulling back, so I got to watch it a little closely here. But we'll see. I'm still going to give it that time. Just depends on if the market keeps running up, if the market turns around here. Back up, market starting to spike. Now that the penny stocks woke up a little bit, I think maybe I should take a back seat a little bit to some of these moves. Market's starting to spike though. It should cause AMD to go up, but AMD's not really following the market that closely here. Give it some time. It's back up to 48. See if the market continues to push. It's weird though. AMD followed the market really well up until this point. Something happened in between this point where it just stopped following the market. With the market pushing up, AMD's heading back down. Very frustrating. Alright, I'm out. Another $88 loss. It's just weird. This is the second day in a row this has happened, and the opening range breakout hasn't failed 2 days in a row out of the entire session of backtesting it. The entire session of backtesting it. AMD hasn't failed twice in a row. And so I think what's going on here is that the overall market is starting to trend not necessarily against AMD, but like what happens is that the cheaper stocks start to run, and then the higher cap stocks are just a little bit more choppy. And I think that's what's really going on. But completely faked me out again there. And I stuck to my risk. Alright, I'm back in AMD looking on the short side now. Maybe I'm chasing it. But trying to get it on the short side, see if this opening breakout will work. But the problem is, like, if AMD starts to get super choppy, I'm just going to get out of this one. I don't want to get caught in another choppy move back up. And so I'll give this one a little bit of time to work, but if not, I'll just bail out of it. But kind of the second choppy day in a row for it. And if anything, I think AMD may be actually going against the overall market at this point. Because like the overall market pushes down, AMD comes back up. Which is strange. But trying to let it pick a direction. Alright, we're down to 30s, 28s. We'll see what we get here. It's starting to move down a little bit better. Down to 25s, 24s. I think the way I need to adjust these type of trades though is that if it fakes me out here, this happens a lot. I think I need to let it work a little bit longer before jumping in because this has happened 2 days in a row. So I'm just trying to kind of adjust to what I see the market tell me in these type of moves. But I'll let this one work. See what we get here. And now we got the market moving back up here. Very strange. I'm not going to hold this one too long. I'll let it go halfway up the first candle just to test it. Maybe I'm getting stubborn being in this one. I just thought that maybe this is a better opening range breakout. Maybe I got in that first one a little bit too early, but man. Like I said, this is the first time in 2 days that it hasn't, that it failed 2 days in a row. Out of the entire time I back tested it, I hadn't seen it fail more than twice 2 days in a row. So I'll let it work, see if it comes back down, but got to keep a relatively tight leash on it. Here we go, a little bit better. Yeah, market's overall pretty choppy. At least the higher cap stocks are, especially with AMD yesterday. It was just super choppy. I'm not really stressed. I'm disappointed that this is the first time it failed twice in a row on me, but losses are going to happen. And so I'm not super upset. I don't hate this entry for this second opening range breakout. I got to give it a little bit tighter leash, like I said, but that's the only thing I'm really thinking about. It just depends on how closely it starts to follow the market. Just very choppy. Second day in a row it's been this choppy, so watching the market here. If the SPY breaks the high of the day, I just got to get out. All right, I'm out. All right, $128 loss today. Not obviously what I wanted. Kind of frustrating. Like I said, I back tested this strategy, And in the entire time I back tested it, it didn't have 2 red days in a row. And I think what happened, like I said earlier, is that the penny stocks started to run, which makes the higher cap stocks kind of slow down. But definitely not a few good days for the opening range breakout. Just the market's a little bit too choppy right now. Oh my gosh, I did only cover 200. Oh, that's frustrating. I appreciate that. I would have completely forgot about it. Yeah, I did still have some shares. I'm out now. But frustrating. I'm not going to force it again today. I'm not going to get in anything else probably. I'm most likely done. Unless Kron. I mean, Kron has a fade right now. Kron looks like a good fade, but we'll see. See, now AMD squeezing back up too. So another choppy day. I'm just not trying to get hit in all the chop. It faked me out here and here. And this is kind of one of those things, right? Where it's like I backtest the setup and I can show you guys, like out of the entire last month of trading, it hasn't failed 2 days in a row like this. And so I'm hoping the strategy's still going to work. I'm not as much worried about today's loss. I'm more worried that maybe the strategy's not going to be viable as much in a choppier market like this. Because like you can see, if I just go down, successful day here, successful day here, failed day here, successful day here. And like if I go back in time, like I said, this thing hasn't had, hold on one second. Successful day here. And so like if I go back in time, this strategy hasn't had 2 failures in a row out of the entire time I back tested it, which is a little worrisome. You know, that just success here, success here, success there, success there. So like that's the only thing I'm worried about, is that maybe the market isn't going to be as beneficial for it. I'm not obsessed with AMD. I've just back tested it. AMD is the one I back tested with. So it's like, I'm not really obsessed with it. It's just that that's the one I back tested these setups on. This looked like a good fade on Kron though. But it's one of those things where it's like, I have to, it's frustrating for me because I backtest the setup and then I paper traded it last week, and paper trading went really really well. And so it's frustrating where it's like the 1 week I decide to use live money with it is the 1 week it stops working. And I think it's like I said, I think probably I shouldn't have jumped in this second trade, although that was a small loss relative to what it was. But like I said, just frustrating. So the VWAP fade JDig is what you see here with Kron, right? You see like a big downward move and then a pullback to the VWAP. Like you could see it pull back here and then it starts to fade back down. No, you can't do options on TEFs. But yeah, I mean, $140 loss. It's not huge relative to like the sheer size I'm doing. Like if you look at the paper trading results I had, let me pull those up. Like if you look at the paper trading results I had for it, first day I made 600, next day I made 120, next day I lost 65, and the next day I profited 70. And so like in the grand scheme of things, it's small, but it's frustrating, you know. And I guess I could look to trade this range breakout here out of this range, but like I said, AMD at least in the last day or so has just been super choppy. It worked really well with the back testing results, but like the last 2 days have been terrible. And I think it has to do with the penny stocks starting to go crazy as opposed to the higher cap stocks. But yeah, kind of looking at the cannabis stocks to see if they fade down. But like I said, I took 2 losses in a row. That means I'm done for the day. It's kind of the rules I give myself. If I take 2 losses, I'm done. But MBEV dropping. Keeping an eye on that one. ENPH popping up on the scanner. ENPH starting to push. RBZ starting to push as well. Also, if anybody's interested in using TEFs, which is the broker, and TradeNet, which is the broker that Mitch and I use, you can go check them out here. They are having their New Year's sale going on right now, so you get 20% off the intro package, I believe. And so instead of $500, you are paying $400 for it. And so it's a pretty good deal. Like I said, if you like to trade penny stocks, it's probably not the best for you. But if you like trading stocks like we do, like stocks over $5 or $6, then it may be a good option for you. You might want to check that out. And I just posted the link if anybody wants to check that out or has any questions for me. But yeah, I think really the volume just kind of slowed on AMD. Let's compare volume. 2 million at the open as opposed to 3, 4, 7, 4.5, 6. Yeah, what happened was the volume slowed down on AMD. That's what's going on. 4. Very low volume open today with only 2 million. And so I think that's probably the culprit here, is that the volume slowed down on it. SPY's up though, which is good. I think the SPY's going to start reversing here. But like I said, I back tested it. I'm just going to stick with it, guys. You know, we got people here saying, oh, you know, if you want help to turn profitable, let me know. And it's like, the thing about it is that all I'm doing is following the plan I gave myself, you know. Like I back tested the strategy. It showed really good results, and then I paper traded it for a week. And so this isn't like a mistake that I'm making in the trade. This is just the strategy didn't work yesterday and today. And so that's why I always try to tell people, you know, usually on the stream, green days is silent, and then they kind of wait for red days, and then once red days hit, they try to say, hey, this is what you're doing wrong and this is what you're doing wrong. But the truth is like I said, like I back tested the setup. I back tested it, got the accuracy rate over a large sample size, paper traded it for a week, and now I'm just using real money. And it just didn't work out for me the last 2 days. But I don't think it's necessarily anything that I'm doing wrong, because I'm just sticking to the same strategy that I tested and the same strategy that I paper traded with and back tested. So I think that maybe I have to take some things into consideration with regard to lower volume today, but overall, I think I'm just going to stick to the plan still. You know, I'm using larger sizing, and so $140 loss is relatively small with 600 shares, so it's all right. But I'm learning stuff on these days, which is good. You know, like I said, I got to look at the volume. And which is weird. Like if you look at volume, volume was here, and we can look and extend this to the left and see when was the last time AMD opened up with 2 million shares or less. The last time it was even close to this was on November 19th. So this is the lowest volume day for AMD at the open, at least in the last 2.5 months. And so interesting here. And I think that's something I have to consider as well. And I'm actually going to write that down because I think that's an important thing to notice. So the $700 loss on TradeNet, it doesn't follow you up, right? So it's essentially static at 13,300, right? So it's not like it follows you up; it just kind of stays at 13,300. So like if you bring your account up to 15K, then your max loss is 1,700. It's still at 13,300, so it doesn't follow you up or anything. Actually, wait, I think they did implement a max daily loss, but it just means that they don't allow you to trade after. It just means they don't allow you to trade after you hit that loss on that day. Like you can trade the next day. Let me look to see what it is. I think they did implement a daily max loss. But yeah, this is something I have to consider, I think, coming up, is that when the volume is this low, like I said, this is the lowest opening volume for AMD in the last 2.5 months. And so I think that's what we're getting here. Plus, it's just in this range still. Another thing I was looking at is that like when it does fake me out, a lot of times it'll just be these quick wicks, and then it'll come right back down. And so maybe giving it a percentage to break out past would be useful, but I don't think I'm taking that route quite yet. But yeah, no, I'm not taking it the wrong way, Jeremy. It's like I said though, like the only thing about it is that like I don't really think I did anything wrong today. I think that I'm just sticking to the plan I gave myself. You know, when I back test the setups I use, right? So it's like I back tested this one, and it had a roughly 75% accuracy rate over 3 months, 3 or 4 months. And so I paper traded it for a week to kind of get the plan and get used to executing it, and then I just got to stick to the plan at this point. And so yeah, like I said, I don't really think I did anything wrong. I think the AMD isn't following the SPY as closely as it was the last few days. But I think I just stuck to the plan today. You know, I got out when I should have. Only error I made was not exiting the full position today, I think. But I got out when I was supposed to, and it's just kind of is what it is. Losses happen, and I'm just hoping the setup continues to be viable. Yeah, I'm seeing MERC go off. But like I said, the point of having the big account is be able to deal with swings like this, and so I'm just going to stick to the plan. I'm just hoping AMD continues to have volatility. I think that with this setup, you need volatility in it, you know, and if it never picks a direction like it did today, then it's just going to chop me out a lot of the time. Look at MBOT finally coming down some, down to 980. AEZS. BLIC. Yeah, look at this move. Look at the spike on BIOC. Huge move. Up to 223. I think the next level to kind of watch for it is this 250 area. VHC. I don't think VHC is tradable for me. It might be, though. Had a nice fade this morning. So we'll see. It'd be kind of ironic if, like, the whole time I was back testing AMD, if fades weren't working as well. And then when I start to use live money, the opening range stops working and fades start to work again. And so I've seen one fade for VHC already. I don't think it's tradable, though. But yeah, I'm looking at Cron as well. I looked at Cron earlier. It kind of faded some. No, VHC is tradable. Too late for this one, though. But yeah, super choppy with AMD. CLPS on the scanners coming up. Let's see what it does. Still relatively low volume for this one. SPY is still looking strong, though. I mean, this is the second day in a row the SPY is pushed up. AXSM spiking up some as well. Yeah, the SPY is looking relatively strong today. AU. Yeah, super choppy. Yeah, I mean, we're mostly getting chopped today. And it's kind of one of those things, right? Like, penny stocks start to run, higher cap stocks slow down. And penny stocks slow down, higher cap stocks start to run. And so maybe we're just in that phase where penny stocks are slowing or moving, starting to run. And the higher cap stocks are slowing down some. All right, so let's calculate my 3 days of results thus far First day I made a $72 gain. Yesterday, $88 loss. Minus 140 today. $156 I'm down since using live money. And so definitely manageable and reasonable. Like I said, I'm not really as worried about like losses. I'm more worried about whether this setup is going to continue to be viable for the short-term future. Like I said, this is the first time in 3 months where this strategy has failed twice, 2 days consecutively in a row. And so that's the biggest thing I'm worried about. Yeah, Todd, the only thing I'm really worried about is that it's just going to continue to be choppy. I don't hate that one either. Tight risk, you know. But not going to force anything else today. I'm not trying to get caught in the chop again. CHK. No, CHK is not tradable. Yeah, I mean, QQQ looked good. It's just a little bit too expensive, but looking at it off the 5-minute is what I'm looking at. Good. Good. Fail. I'm just kind of quickly back testing it right now. So 2 successes, 1 failure. 3 successes, 1 or 2 successes, 2 failures. 3 successes. At least in the last few days, it hasn't been as viable. I don't know. I mean, let me look. All right, so let's back test this really quick. You guys will get a little back testing lesson. All right, so we can look at QQQ and let's back test it for the opening range, right? So we have 1 success, 2 successes, fail. Let's see how many times this works. This would have been a success because it actually would have gotten the range, so that's another success. It actually got the 1-to-1 target. This would have as well. Let's see. 22 up to 73. It'd be about 50 cents. And from 23, we need to go down to 75 or so. Yeah, it would have hit that, so that would have been a success. Definitely a failure. Well, wait, let's see the range. It's 24, 67. So that's 37, or that's 33 plus 24 would be 57. So from 25 be 77. No, not quite. Wait. Yeah, barely would have been successful, but it would have worked. Let's see. Definitely a failure on this day. 0. Failure on this day. 0. Definitely a success on that day. Definitely a success on that day. Success on that day. Fail. So yeah, I'm back testing QQQ now. Wait, let's see. Fail. 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 Yeah, well, even looking at, let's see, this is up until the 21st. We'll go back down to the 16th. This would have been a success. We're just going to do a month just to see the viability of this. Fail here. Success. Fail. All right. Almost done. Success. All right, I think that's about it. Let's see if they have a 16. All right, so yeah, that's it. So let's tally these up, okay? So these are the results I got for QQQ opening range breakout back testing over a month time frame. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 successful. Fail 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Roughly 50% accuracy. Roughly 50%. We had 11 successful and 10 fails, so out of 21 it failed 10 times. So roughly a little bit better than 50%, but not by much. And so no, QQQ is not a... I'm not going to try it for that one. Just because the back testing, at least over the last month, wasn't favorable. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just tidy. Like I said, I go by the results here, and that's why I try to tell people, like, when I back test the stock, you know, that's what I look for. I look for favorable accuracy rates, right? And the reason everybody kind of was joking around saying how much I love AMD, but the reason I like AMD is because the back testing results were favorable. That's the reason I'm approaching it like this, is because the back testing results were favorable. And I think these last 2 days just were choppy. It hasn't really broken out of that first range yet. And so I think in order to continue working, it has to follow the SPY a little bit closer, because at this point it's still very, very choppy in this choppy range, and that's kind of what I got hit with the last 2 days, which is fine, you know. As long as I can continue to look for that 11 a.m. hold, then I think I'll be okay. Right, for sure. If you give it a 2-to-1 reward to risk, it would make sense. But just looking at QQQ, you're not going to get 2-to-1 most of the time. Like, a lot of the times where it was successful, it was barely successful for 1-to-1. Just depending on where you're going to set your risk. And so, like I said, with the times it was successful, it was barely successful with 1-to-1. And so, you know, with AMD, since like I said, the real way I want to approach this strategy is that days like, for instance, this day, which was Monday, which was a green day on Monday, but days like this day when it does work, if I hold it until 11 o'clock market time, which would be way up here, then, you know, I'm going to get a lot better reward to my risk, and that's the goal here, because like on this day, with the opening candle of about 25 cents, you know, you go up here 25 cents once, and then you go up here 25 cents twice. So I would have had 2-to-1 if I would have held it to 11 on that day. And so even if I have 2 losses in a row, one good trade can wipe that out. It's just about whether AMD is going to stop being so choppy for me. You know, definitely choppy today, definitely choppy yesterday. And so it's just, you know, losses are going to happen. I'm not super upset with it. And like I said, I don't think I did anything wrong. I think I'm just sticking to the back-tested strategy that I used. And it was one of those kind of group of days that just didn't work out for me. Yeah, actually, Quentin, that's something I was looking at the other day, where it's like a lot of the time, giving myself half the risk of that first candle makes a lot of sense. You know, like, so if we go back in time and look at all of the times that AMD was successful, right, with the opening range breakout, you know, let's mark down half of that first candle as our risk, right? It never touches it again. It breaks and stays. So that's good. Once it finally does break that, breaks and stays, there would be our risk. This trade I could have gotten in halfway, would have been a lot better. this day, half the first risk would have worked. And so I think that's a reasonable way to approach it, is giving yourself half the risk. The only problem is days like this, right? Where it opened up here, broke past, and then it moved back down some. So days like this, it would have stopped me out. And that's the only thing. But I think half the risk makes sense too. And so maybe I'll look at it and kind of test that a little bit more. Would I VWAP fade TBLT? It wouldn't really be a fade. It'd be more of a rejection at this point. And TBLT, the range is just huge on it. It's not really my style of doing it either. Too big of a chance that it's going to squeeze up. But it doesn't look terrible for a rejection. But yeah, this wouldn't be a fade just because it's never really broken out of that range of the first candle either. Kind of looking at MBEV for a fade, but again, I took 2 losses in a row and I have to just kind of follow my rules. XLF and BAC, which one do I like? This is an ETF, right? What's BAC? I gotta look at the daily chart. I mean, they're all very similar. I mean, one of these is an ETF, right? Maybe a bank ETF. If it's a bank ETF, it's just kind of doing the same thing. Very similar, yeah. I mean, one of them's an ETF. They look almost identical, really. But yeah, AMD's still in this range. Cron kind of looks like a fade here. What's up, Isaac? Good morning, man. Yeah, I trade options. DBLT. Or TBLT. Yeah, that one's kind of choppy as well. Yeah, I mean, I look for the opening range breakout in AMD. Yeah, that's kind of what I saw as well, Dan. But yeah, I ended up trading it. But one thing I noticed, like I said earlier, is that like the volume today is actually lower on AMD at the open than it has been in the last 2.5 months. So since like November, the volume was the lowest at the open this morning than it had been in 2.5 months. And so probably should have seen that as like a sign, but yeah, for sure. AMD typically, even with low volume though, that's what I was saying. AMD generally has been has a better range than this, and it usually breaks out the range. And so it's one of those things where I'm just sticking to the back tested strategy that I used, and these last 2 days just it hasn't worked. You know, it is what it is. Yeah, I got it, Todd. I haven't had much time to look at it, but I know I did receive it. Yeah, look at AMD. It's still stuck in this range. As for some of these other moves, MBOT is down. What else was moving yesterday? VHC. Bank of America is starting to go up some. BILI as well. SPY really starting to drop here. What do I think about Merck? Volume is under 1 million. Yeah, I mean, low volume, kind of sideways. Up a little bit, but mostly sideways. ENPH. Yeah, ENPH has been going. Yeah, I think the only way to really trade AMD on days like today is just kind of range bound. You know, for instance, like you go short up here, cover down here, long down here, cover up here. And I think that's really the only way to approach it today on choppy days like this. Yeah, I'm definitely watching the SPY breakdown right here. Kind of almost got to that 262 level, which is the level we all talked about in the market. If you look at the daily chart on the SPY, a lot of resistance up here around 262 where it's at now. So I could see it really coming back down now. Oh no, I mean, I back test for much longer than a month, D. Usually like what I try to go shoot for is a year, because I think that encompasses slow, you know, slow markets, voluminous markets, and so I usually stick with about a year. With QQQ, I just did it kind of off the jump here. It's not, I'm not seriously taking into consideration it that much. I just wanted to look at the viability over the last month on QQQ. But with AMD, I've been back testing it. I'm at like 5 months now. But the goal is at least a year of back testing. I don't know about 10 years, but about a year is what I'm looking for with it. IAG. Yeah, big tank at the open this morning. Big wash. Even if it gets up to the VWAP, though, I mean, it's just down so much already. I could see it coming up. Right, that's kind of my take. 10 years would be a little excessive for day trading specifically. If you were investing, I don't think it's bad to, I don't think it's bad to test it long at all. I think anything over 5 years though is a little bit overkill for day trading. Like I said, my goal is about a year. Yeah, that's probably true, Quentin. With regard to like news, I mean, here's the thing though, right? Like, even if I look at AMD over the last month, super accurate aside from these last 2 days, like success, success, fail, success, 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 close. Probably consider that a success though. It got about 1-to-1. Success, fail, success, fail, success, fail, success, success. Let me see this last one. Success. And so it's like over the last good bit, even if no news was out on it, it would still work well. Like I said, I think the overall market's just a little bit slower right now, at least with higher cap stocks, because the penny stocks are starting to move, and you kind of have like a turn of the guard, a change of the guard, where penny stocks will start to run, higher cap stocks will slow down, and vice versa. The only big thing today was the volume was less than 2 million shares, which is the lowest volume it's had in 2.5 months prior. Like if you look at the volume here, this is the volume from today. And like if I go back in time, you can see like every day it opened up higher with higher volume all the way up until I think November 19th or so. But every day it opened up with higher volume. Let's see. And so I think that's the thing to look at today, is just the volume is kind of slow with it. Yeah, that's a good. I mean, that's a good way to approach it, Gagan. He said, "I think I'm done for the day. I'm down 34. Keep looking for trades and rather not force one and lose more." Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing about it is though, like with AMD, if you look at the daily chart, it's just been kind of sideways for 3 months now. So 3 months it's been sideways, and so until it breaks these levels, it's kind of hard to really determine which way AMD is going to head, whether it's bullish or bearish. Yeah, this is an ETF. What's the underlying asset of the ETF, Lucas, for SQQQ? No, I mean I'm not stressing about it, Netron. Like I said, I mean when I back tested it, the paper trading session, like average gain was, let me see. Uh, Average gain was about, I don't know, $300 or so when I back tested it. And so, or when I paper traded it. And so today's small. $140 loss is small in the grand scheme of things. Like I said, though, I'm not really worried about the loss. I'm more worried about whether the market's going to be viable for the opening range breakout with AMD, especially after these last two choppy days. AMD hasn't really failed the opening range breakout 2 days in a row in a while. And so the fact that it has failed and been really choppy 2 days in a row, I'm just hoping the volume can pick back up with it and the range can pick back up. And if not, I'll just have to back test another strategy and move on, which is kind of the process of trading. FDC. Yeah, I was looking at FDC earlier. What did it end up doing? Kind of choppy. Kind of looks like a fade, but it could also be a very big reversal if it gets back up here. Yeah, I've lost big. My biggest loss actually came from it was when I was trading on SureTrader, and I was actually had a green day. I was actually up on the day, and I decided to jump in to an IPO with small sizing, what I thought was small sizing, but the IPO had such a big range that I was down like $1,000 or something crazy within like 10 seconds, and I kind of got pretty upset. It was when I was a brand new trader a few years ago. I think every trader has their big loss story. But yeah, probably done for the day, guys. Like I said earlier, if you're interested in using TradeNet, you can go through my link and get 20% off. I make a commission from it. It's one of the ways we always keep this this stream free. But if you're interested in using the broker that Mitch and I use, which is Tefs from TradeNet, go through the link and you can check them out. If you trade penny stocks, probably not the best package or best broker for you for Tefs. But if you trade more expensive stocks, I think Tefs is a good option. Cheap commissions, a lot of shorts. Anything that's tradable is shortable. So go check them out if you're interested in signing up. But yeah, I'm probably done for the day, guys. Like I said, if you're interested in using trade ideas, they do have their open house kind of trial going on right now. I think you get to use it for like $8 for a certain period of time. And so if you're interested in checking out Trade Ideas, which is the scanner that I'm using, like I said, I think they have their open house trial show coming up, and there's the link to it there if you want to check that out. But yeah, go check out those links. Yeah, for sure. Every trader has their big loss, Maximus. Any words of advice on where you can have a good paper trading platform? I mean, it just depends. Free. I mean, you can use Thinkorswim if you have an account with them and it's free. All you have to do is call them and say you want live paper trading. If you're gonna pay for it, DOS has a really good one. Tefs isn't that bad either. It just depends on what you're looking to trade, and so there's a few good options. But yeah, guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. $140 loss today, not the end of the world. Like I said, my average win paper trading was about 300, and so it's a small loss. Frustrating, the choppiness in AMD, but low volume day, and hopefully it can break out of the range and start doing well coming up, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, guys, good luck for the rest of the day. If you haven't already, subscribe. I day trade live on stream every weekday morning starting at 8:40 market time. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you want to do me a favor and help support this channel, if you appreciate this content and you want to do your most to help support the channel, click the like button right now in the video. What do you mean, Maximus? Later, D. No problem, Mac. What do you mean, Maximus? Yeah, I mean, I only trade stocks. I don't trade currencies or crypto or anything like that. I just stick to stocks. I just stick to what works for me, which is generally stocks. But yeah, no stress. Good luck, guys. Have a good day. I'll see you all tomorrow.